Greetings, everyone. We are here for another collective energy check. Today is November the 22nd, 2025. The time is 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I have already cleared the energy. I have already shuffled all the decks. So we're going to jump right in and see what Spirit has to say. As we get this message, I will be taking notes. Okay, start things off with, we got somebody out here, them karmics had intent to harm. So whatever the message is definitely going to be whatever it is they intended to harm. So once again, I'd like to welcome everybody. If the message resonates with you, please like and share the message, the video. If you'd like to support the channel, you can support the channel at Priority K1 on Cash App. All right, thank you in advance. What do you have to say, Spirit, about these karmics who have intent to harm? Please give us clear and concise. Grudge wanted to pop out. That was in the last message that I uploaded. It's called the Ex and Cousin Government Trouble. Okay, and Cemetery Magic. So Grudge wanted to pop out. So please give us clear and concise messages, Spirit. Pop the card all the way out for the authenticity of this reading. I will be taking one card from each deck. I will shuffle through the deck, each deck 3 times. If Spirit don't want to pop a message out, I will move on to the next deck. Spirit, what would you like to tell us about these people who had intent to harm, Spirit? Thank you, Spirit. Oh, by the way, I have added 80 new situations into the decks. The card that popped out on the upright is introspection. So that's somebody in hermit mode, pretty much. That would be the hermit card, definitely. But we got a dark high priestess involved in this, and we got somebody who was determined to do this. So that just pretty much clarifies that these karmics had intent to harm. So they were really determined about this. So we got a dark high priestess involved. And we got somebody that was determined. Clarifying intent to harm. So far we got somebody that was determined about having intent to harm. So it's a high priestess. So that's what Spirit is telling us. The Spirit is telling us we got a high priestess that was determined about intent to harm. And introspection is showing that now this person or whoever is in hermit mode, because introspection means meditation, thinking. That would be the hermit card. Old is on the bottom of the deck. So evidently this news is old, or either this high priestess is old. I know some of the messages that we get are the same messages repeated over and over again. So Spirit might be telling us that this is old, or either the high priestess that Spirit is getting ready to reveal to us is old. Tell us more, Spirit. Tell us more, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. Disaster avoided is in the reverse. So these karmics are not going to be able to avoid this disaster, because everybody's seen it pop out in the reverse. So disaster is in reverse for this high priestesses. So Spirit saying pray. And then we have expert out here. So maybe this high priest was an expert at their field or whatever, but Spirit's saying pray. And, you know, I pray without ceasing because I already know that I'm under spiritual attack. So I definitely pray without ceasing already. These people, they was greedy. So these people definitely operating in devil energy, because greed is one of the 7 deadly sins. Tell us more, Spirit. We'll shuffle this deck one more time. No message pop out. We'll move on to the next one. Rhyme reverse wanted to pop out. So did greedy again. We're going to put this in the upright. Okay, thank you, Spirit. Do the work. Okay, so these karmics don't obviously want to do the work, okay? And it's not a surprise. Spirit saying it's not a surprise, okay? Or Spirit saying that there's a surprise. And then Spirit saying eat up. Spirit might be being funny. Eat up, huh? Surprise, eat up. Maybe Spirit saying that he gonna eat these karmics up. Surprise, eat up. Spirit saying, okay, so before we move on to the second row, okay, we're going to interpret this first row, and then we're going to continue the message, and then at the end, we're going to summarize the whole message, because the total message is not going to be revealed until we get to the last row. Okay, so far, we got Spirit saying, okay, that we got a dark priest, okay, who was very determined about having intent to harm. Okay, Spirit saying have go into hermit mode, which is introspection. Okay, and this high priestess is definitely not going to be able to avoid disaster. So Spirit saying pray, and this high priestess might be old, or either this is old news. Okay, Spirit saying do the work. Okay. But Spirit is saying expert. So Spirit could be saying that this high priest is an expert. And that's the reason why maybe we should pray, because they determined to have intent to harm. Okay. So, but Spirit is also saying at the same time, they're not going to be able to avoid disaster, because Spirit is saying they greedy. Okay. That's why they determined to intent to harm. Okay. But Spirit saying surprise, eat them up. Okay. So also he's saying pray, okay, and go into hermit mode and meditate. So that's what we got for the first row. Sorry about that shaking, you guys. I'm gonna try to straighten this up a little bit for you guys, so you guys can get the whole message. Try to get this in focus for you. Okay, so at the next row, we have unfortunate. So yeah, it's unfortunate for these karmics that they didn't do the work. It's unfortunate for these karmics that they chose the wrong path. It's unfortunate for these karmics that they're not going to be able to avoid disaster. It's unfortunate for these karmics that they were determined about having an intent to harm, and they were greedy. So it's unfortunate for them. It's unfortunate that they didn't have introspection and go in and do the work, because maybe if they did, maybe they could have avoided this disaster that they created for themselves. So what else more you got for us, Spirit? Tell us more. Okay, oh, we get past this deck, because this is the deck that reading is over is in. So Spirit has been known to terminate readings. So tell us more, Spirit. Tell us more, Spirit. Cheat. Creating obstacles almost popped out. Okay, wow. Yeah, pop that one out way over there. Hold on, you guys. Popped out in the upright. But we got where two or more are gathered. Okay. Ooh, so Spirit is saying go into hermit mode, okay? Where two or more are gathered, that could mean that Spirit could be saying go to church or something, or have fellowship. That's what I'm getting out of that. Fellowship is where two or more people get together and praise God or give thanks to God. Excuse me, confirmation. But it says looks young for their age, and it's temporary. So evidently, this dark high priestess is old, but they look young for their age. And Spirit is saying all of this is temporary. So this dark high priestess is old, but they look young for their age. But this is temporary. Okay. All right. Got a dark high priestess that's old, but look young for their age. Informant. Reactive abuse. Reactive abuse, okay? So let me explain in case there's people out there that don't know what reactive abuse is, okay? Reactive abuse is if you basically what reactive abuse is letting us know right here and right now is that there's an energy vampire in the energy right now, okay? Reactive abuse. Okay, because what reactive abuse is where an energy vampire is basically pretty much in narcissistic energy, okay? So we got an energy vampire that's in narcissistic energy, all right? And reactive abuse is where they try to create situations where they try to get you to react, okay? I'm talking about, when I say react, I mean they want you to get angry, they want you to get emotional, or they even want you to go as far as even cry, because that's how they are able to siphon your energy. So somebody is in the energy that is looking for some type of reaction so they can get energy. That's what reactive abuse is. Okay, so what else you have for us, Spirit? What other messages do you have for us? Evil Witch wanted to pop out. Please pop the card all the way out, Spirit. Oh, she a bitch, too. Thank God, though. One day, though. Ain't shit. So we got a dark high priestess that's old, but look young for their age, that's determined to, that's greedy and determined to have intent to do harm. And Spirit saying, surprise, eat them up, because they didn't want to go in and do the work. They facing the disaster. Sloth. Okay, that's been consistently in the energy. Sloth means that they lazy. That's what sloth means. If you believe it, you can achieve it. Okay, so Spirit saying if you believe it, you can achieve it. So Spirit is saying go in and ask for what you want and manifest. That's what that is saying. Spirit is saying manifest what you want. These karmics are lazy. That's the reason why they're doing all this voodoo hoodoo and practicing spell work and black magic or whatever, because it's easier for them to cast spells rather than go through the whole dark night of the soul crying and you know, trying to challenge some of their old beliefs in order to ascend to a higher level, okay? So they don't want to do that. They rather just practice spell work and continue to serve the dark collective instead of raising their vibration to a higher level and ascending to, you know, serve and use their gifts for good rather than for evil. Because clearly Spirit is saying sloth is also greedy, and sloth is 2 of the 7 deadly sins, okay? Compromise, okay? They are facing this disaster because they don't have any compromise. Compromise. I just want to make another one, you guys. Ran out of space on my cue card. But compromise. They ain't shit because they didn't want to compromise. What else, Spirit? What else you have for us? They're practicing magic. They're trying to do a destiny swap. Oh. Yeah, just turn over. Oh, this is blank. Oh, okay. So they drawing a blank. That's what Spirit is saying. They drawing a blank. They're going insane in the process. One day they feel entitled, and one day they don't. We got a dark high priestess. This dark high priestess could be a black widow. That's old, but look young for her age. Tell us more, Spirit. FBI is involved. Twin flame. This is a continuation from the whole witch. Thank you, Spirit. PDF. She's a PDF. Yes, sir. She's a PDF who don't want to go in and do the work and change. So she gonna have a disaster. She headed for disaster. Okay. She out here dating with options. And the FBI shows its face again. So the FBI is definitely involved with this dating with options. And as the story has been unfolding, okay, we got these people out here catfishing people on social media and using chat lines and dating sites and out here recruiting people in order to do these sex rituals in hotels, and they meeting up in hotels. So definitely dating with options is narcissistic. And possibly the reason why I think that the FBI is involved, because the message has been consistently that these cults and covens are, in church coven, is operating and knowingly spreading these HIV by practicing these sex rituals. This the sex church cult coven, the Eastern Stars, and the Masons. So we got, oh shit, wait, what, right, this is the third row. Okay, so let's dissect that first row before we jump into the third row. So on the third row, we got a rising star. That's collective energy. That's definitely my energy. Rising star. Okay. So being that this is the first card in the second row, it's the rising star. Okay. That is in hermit mode. And Spirit saying, where two or more are gathered, he is in the midst. So, and it's on the pray card that's on this card, because this card is saying pray, and it's clarified by where two or more are gathered, I'm in the midst. Okay. But the star is definitely the collective energy, and that's the positive message. But anyway, for the second row, it's unfortunate for these karmics, okay, because they didn't want to go in and do the work, and it's unfortunate because they headed for a disaster. Okay, it's unfortunate because they were determined and they were greedy and they had intent to harm. Okay, but Spirit is saying that where two or more are gathered, I'm in the midst, and it's unfortunate for this dark high priestess who is a black widow witch. Okay, who is really old but looks young for her age. Spirit saying that this is temporary. Reactive abuse is somebody who is narcissistic or energy vampire. Okay, and it came out on this card, which saying Spirit saying that they ain't shit. Okay, and Spirit saying that if you believe, you can achieve. Okay, so being that it came out on this card, which is right next to this card where two or more are gathered, and introspection, right after Spirit saying do the work, Spirit is saying manifest whatever you want, because whatever you believe, you can achieve. So Spirit right here is saying that's the magician card right there. Okay, but Spirit is saying that on this card they lazy because sloth means lazy. So they ain't shit because they don't want to do the work. So that's why they lazy. But this dark high priestess and this black widow, which is my ex, is the kitchen witch or the hoe witch or whatever you want to call her, is a PDF. And everybody know what a PDF is. And obviously by FBI coming out on this card and compromise. They didn't want to compromise, okay? They didn't want to choose the narrow path. They want to stay on the wide path and serve the devil instead of compromising and serving God. And instead of using their gifts for evil, they could have used their gifts for good. But this Black Widow, who is a dark high priestess, is out there dating with options, okay? Which is on the ain't shit card. She ain't shit. All right. So that's the second row. Okay. All right, so we got Rising Star on the third row. That once again that popped out on the first row on the bottom of the deck, Rising Star. So Spirit's saying go in hermit mode, and where two or more are gathered, I'm in the midst. And he's also saying pray, okay? Because if you can believe it, you can achieve it. So whatever you manifest at this point, it's yours. That's what Spirit is saying. But what else, Spirit? What else? What else? What else, Spirit? The wheel is turning. I'm sure the wheel ain't turning in their favor, being that they have a disaster that they can't avoid. So the wheel's definitely turning in the collective's energy or my energy. So there's photo proof, okay? So whatever these karmics are doing, there's a court date coming up, okay? And FBI is definitely involved. And by photo proof being out there, that means that there's evidence. There's evidence for this court date that's coming up. Part of the evidence is photo proof. It could be a photo, it could be a video, but part of the evidence is photo proof, and or either a video. It could be a video of somebody being recorded doing spell work. It could be a video of, because it's been in the energy of them practicing doing these sex rituals, trying to do come back to me spells or whatever. So it could be a video or it could be a photo of this type of activity that's going on. What they were intended to do, determined to do, have tent to do harm about, and they were greedy about it, is because what's been in the energy is that these they have been trying to steal a life insurance policy, and that was in a will, and also a house, a gift, and an estate. So the rising star is a genius. So they've been attacking a genius. That's what Spirit is saying. What else, Spirit? What else, Spirit? What other messages do you have for us? I appreciate Tiv wanting to pop out. What other messages do you have for us, Spirit? We waiting for a message. Sweetheart wanted to pop out. There you go. Thank you, Spirit. Hot-headed. Popped out sideways. We're going to take it in the upright. Okay? So these karmics are hot-headed. Okay? And they ain't shit, because they got a disaster that they ain't going to be able to avoid. And they losers. Spirit saying that they losers for being PDFs and not wanting to go in and do the work. Oh, and at this point, they nervous about this court date and this evidence of photo or video that the FBI has on them. Yeah. They nervous about this. They nervous about this video evidence that the FBI have about them practicing sex magic or hooking up, catfishing people online and dating with options. They got evidence on these people. Maybe that's the surprise, because Spirit's saying surprise. Spirit telling these people to go in and heal. They need to heal. They need to heal. They need to heal or go to jail. They losers though. They ain't shit. That's what Spirit's saying. They ain't shit. Freedom. Spirit saying this shit is only temporary, because this shit is going to be freedom for somebody. If you can believe, you can achieve. Okay? Where two or more are gathered, Spirit saying I'm in the midst. Because Spirit saying pray, because you're under spiritual attack by a dark high priestess who's a black widow that's greedy, lazy, and determined to harm. But the disaster is somebody out of all this gonna have some freedom. It could be these kids that's involved with this PDF work. Maybe the wheel of fortune that's turning is this freedom that's going to be had. Freedom from this hot-headed, dark priest that I'm under attack from. This black widow, high dark priest, who's really old but look young for their age. They giving up though. They nervous. They giving up and they nervous about this court date and this evidence, this photo evidence or video evidence that the FBI have on them. Tell us more, Spirit. What is this last one? High ranking in the spirit. This genius and rising star is high ranking in the spirit. Tell us more, Spirit. Please give us clear and concise messages, Spirit. Tell us more. Thank you, Spirit. Lesson learned. After these people experience this disaster that the Most High got for them, it's going to be a lesson learned. Direction. Yeah. Direction. If they had followed the right path, then they would have been headed in the right direction. But the Spirit's saying this is a backfire. So before we pull the kipper, and if necessary, we'll do some Torah to try to clarify some of these things, because it's pretty much already clear. Okay, Spirit is saying that it's a dark priest in the energy that's a black widow, so she a PDF, and Spirit saying they ain't shit. So let's dissect this third row and then do this last row and then summarize this video and see what else Spirit has for us. But at any rate, rising star was at the bottom of the deck of this row. So the rising star is in hermit mode. Okay, Spirit saying where two or more are gathered, I'm in the midst. So Spirit is letting us know that he with us. Okay, the wheel of fortune is definitely not turning in their favor, but it's turning in the favor of the rising star. Okay, this black high priest widow who is black high priest who's a black widow. There's a court date coming up. Okay, and this court date involves the FBI. Okay. And there's video proof, okay, of there's evidence about these people dating with purpose, or either there's video proof about these people doing PDFs. Okay, they lazy, and whatever is going on is only temporary, Spirit is saying. Okay. Genius popped out on hot-headed. Okay, I don't know. Spirit could be talking about me because I am a little bit hot-headed. But it being that it's in the row with ain't shit, and this dark high priestess that's going to be experiencing a disaster, it could be saying that they hot-headed and they nervous, okay, about this court date that's coming up. Okay, they definitely nervous about this court date. Okay, because remember here on the last row over here on compromise and FBI and dating with options came out, and now we got court date, and we have photo proof, which is saying that the FBI has evidence on these people doing PDFs or practicing these sex rituals. Okay, or either they might have evidence of them going in the bank cashing some checks that has something to do with this estate. Okay, but Spirit's saying that they losers and they ain't shit, and they're not going to be able to avoid this disaster. Lesson learned is freedom. Okay, I did learn a lesson from being in a relationship with my ex, and that was that I'm worthy. Okay, it was not only that I'm worthy, but it was also that I deserve respect. Not only that, but it was revealed to me that I have gifts also. So the direction that I chose is I'm going on the right path, and these karmics are not going on the right path. They're not on the right path. That's the reason why they're facing disaster that they can't avoid, because they didn't want to go in and do the work. And they were greedy and lazy. The sloth is lazy, and they were determined to harm. A Spirit saying surprise, because this is backfire. Surprise came out on this card, do the work. And backfire came on this card, lesson learned. So if they had went in and did the work, they would have went in the right direction. They wouldn't have to worry about a backfire, and they would have been able to avoid disaster. As a result, the wheel of fortune is not turning in their favor. Out of this lesson learned. Somebody gonna have freedom. That's what I'm getting out of this. Let's see what the Kipper has to say, and then if we need further clarification, then we'll jump in with the tarot. But let's see if Spirit can narrow down a little bit who ain't shit, and even though we do know that it's a black widow. But at the bottom of the deck in the Kipper is a privileged lady. So definitely probably talking about my ex. Tell us more, Spirit. Wow. You got this card sideways, a courthouse, okay, which definitely clarifies that on this card, rising star and court date and photo proof popped out. So this card might not even need no tarot, because this card is clarifying that the rising star is going to have to go to court. Okay. And it's also clarifying that there is evidence about this dark high priestess, or this black widow, who is lazy, greedy, old but look young, and that's a narcissist with reactive abuse being out here, that was determined to cause harm. The pathway, okay? This card, pathway, okay, clarifies direction, okay? This card is clarifying that these people did not want to go in and do the work. As a result, the pathway, like I said before, they chose the wide path opposed to the narrow path. So their direction is the one that's causing them to be headed towards disaster. On the split, we got despair, and we got family room. So they've been having meetings, evidently, okay, about all this nefarious type of activity and choosing the wrong path. So they, as a result, now, because they chose the wrong path and they headed for disaster because they didn't want to go in and do the work, they're in despair. What the family room could also mean is that because this people, or dark high priestess, was determined about causing intent to harm, it could be them, or the church sex cult coven, or the Eastern Stars, or the Masons are the ones having a meeting about this dark high priestess, and or this community and this family. So they could be having a meeting about this. The family, the church, the Eastern Stars, and the Masons could all be having a meeting about this dark high priestess that was lazy, was greedy, and had intent to harm. Tell us more, Spirit. What is this last row? What is this last row, Spirit? Education almost popped out. Seen it. Thank you, Spirit. I'm only going to take one. Take this one. I'm take this one. Thank you. See, it's about this house, okay? But there's concern about this mature man, okay? And on the cut, we got wealthy man, okay? Which clarifies that this mature male is healthy. So the dark high priestess definitely could be a male, okay? But somehow the black widow is involved, because I know that she's the one that's been trying to steal this house. We got wealthy man, and we got mature man. There could be more than one man involved. Definitely could be more than one man involved. Just try to see if we can clarify a little bit with the tarot. To find out who need to go in and do the introspection. This introspection, Holy Spirit. Introspection. Who or what? Introspection, Holy Spirit. Clarify introspection, please. I wouldn't be surprised if the Star card popped out, or the High Priestess card. It wouldn't surprise me. A 9 of Cups. So, evidently, it's somebody who's going to be blessed with abundance. Introspection, Holy Spirit. Introspection, Holy Spirit. Please give me information on introspection. Introspection, Holy Spirit. Thank you. Well, it's somebody who has strength. Somebody who has strength. Somebody who doesn't want to accept an offer from just anybody. Somebody who is definitely in meditation and contemplation. Introspection. That's meditation. Meditation. Somebody who practices apathy. Revelation. Give me one more card for introspection, Holy Spirit. One more card for introspection. Thank you. Somebody who's letting go of past resentments. Okay. Somebody that has a desire to forgive. That's definitely collective energy. Interesting. So, evidently, this genius who's a rising star is strong, has strength to go through this shit that's only temporary. So the intent to harm was on somebody who is apathetic and has the ability to forgive. Clarify Wheel of Fortune, Spirit. Clarify Wheel of Fortune, Spirit. I'll take one card, Spirit. Clarify Wheel of Fortune. Thank you, Spirit. Is that one card or two cards? It says Wheel of Fortune, Page of Cups. Somebody who has creative opportunities. Somebody who has initiative, curiosity, possibly happy, surprise. Happy surprise. Somebody who's a dreamer, sensitive. There's new love. what's been in the energy is these karmics have been trying to block new love. So the wheel is definitely turning in the collective favor. So there's creative opportunities coming up. Could be possibly in the form of a job, a new love that's going to possibly lead to a job. Let's summarize this and then see what else Spirit wants us to do. Okay, going back to the beginning of the reading, the bottom of the deck on the introspection, we have intent to harm. On the split, on introspection, we got Dark High Priestess and determination. So the Dark High Priestess was determined about having intent to harm. Introspection, which could mean that they thought about this. That's the reason why they had intent to harm. Disaster avoided in reverse means that this Dark High Priestess is headed for disaster, pretty much. They old though. Okay? But Spirit's saying that they are expert. So that's the reason why the collective should pray. When two or more are gathered, I'm in the midst. So the collective is two or more. So as a collective, we need to pray for one another. Gritty popped out on do the work and eat up and surprise also at the split of do the work. So this Dark High Priestess didn't want to do the work to avoid this disaster. But they thought about this shit and they were determined about causing harm. It's unfortunate that they didn't want to go in and do the work, because unfortunate came out on the bottom of the deck, or where two or more are gathered. I'm in the midst. Spirit is saying that this Dark High Priestess, that they look young for their age, but they old. Because old popped out on disaster avoided on the bottom of the deck. They old. This High Priestess is old, but they look young for their age. Spirit saying don't worry, because this shit temporary anyway. But reactive abuse popped out on ain't shit. I mean, I was on the bottom of the deck, ain't shit. That's narcissistic energy, reactive abuse. Pray could mean that this Dark High Priestess was praying on the downfall of somebody in the collective. But Spirit is saying that if you believe it, you can achieve it. So Spirit is basically saying manifest whatever you want. Because these lazy people ain't shit. And they PDFs too. On a PDF card, we got compromise. These people didn't want to compromise. They didn't want to compromise and do the work to avoid this disaster. They'd rather do the devil's work and be PDFs. But they ain't shit. That's the reason why they headed for disaster. The FBI is involved in the energy with this on the PDF card on the split and dating with options. So I know for a fact they was catfishing people online, okay, and meeting people on chat lines and chat groups with this community, recruiting these people for these sex rituals. So maybe that's why the FBI is involved. I know that they in trouble with the IRS because I posted the last reading I did was about an ex and a cousin that was in government trouble, and the IRS is involved. and the government. So the government is the IRS. But I believe the government is involved because they were part of a conspiracy that involves MK Ultra. Rising Star was at the bottom of the deck of Wheel is Turning. So the wheel is turning in collective's energy. There's a court date and there's evidence. There's photo proof. There's evidence of this PDFs or them practicing and doing these sex rituals. With the high priestess being out there, that's what that means. As a result, this narcissist is hot-headed. They all be operating in double energy, but they ain't shit because they've been trying to cause harm to a genius who's a rising star. But as a result of them trying to cause harm, Spirit saying that this shit is only temporary. Manifest what you want because there's going to be freedom involved at the end of all this. This hot-headed person is a loser, Spirit saying, but they ain't shit because they headed for disaster because they didn't want to do the work. There's going to be some freedom to somebody in the collective where the wheel is turning. They didn't want to choose the right direction, okay, because they was hot-headed. And the Spirit saying this is going to be a backfire. Backfire came out on the lesson learned. If they had went in the right direction and chose the right path, then they would have been able to avoid this backfire and they would have been able to avoid disaster if they had went in and did the work. There's a privileged lady and a mature man that's in the energy. A wealthy, mature man that's in the energy, which is lead me to believe that that's the guy who raised me majority part of my life. And this privileged lady is my ex. But Courthouse came out on privileged lady was at the bottom of the deck, and Courthouse came in on the cut between Courthouse and Pathway. And family room is somebody having a meeting. It could be the Eastern Stars having a meeting. It could be these Masons having a meeting. It could be this community that's having a meeting. We did see community. It could be the FBI could be having a meeting. The family room means that somebody's having a meeting. They could be having a meeting about this hot-headed, dark high priestess who ain't shit. And that's the reason why they headed for disaster. Because they didn't want to go in and do the work. There's a lesson to be learned out of all this. And as a result, somebody going to have freedom. Spirit saying, if you can believe it, you can achieve it. So go in and manifest what you want. Because Spirit saying, I'm going to eat them up. I'm going to eat up this hot-headed narcissist that ain't shit with disaster. For trying to come and steal this house. Because that's what they were that's what they was greedy about. That's what they was lazy about going in and doing the work. Okay, and they thought about this shit, okay, of trying to use black magic, witchcraft, voodoo, hoodoo to try to steal this house. And the pathway is definitely not clear for them because the pathway that they chose with the direction that they went in, they definitely headed for disaster because they can't avoid it. That's what Spirit is saying. They can't avoid this disaster. They preyed on somebody's downfall. As a result, they headed for disaster. Spirit saying they was expert at doing this, but surprise, they didn't go in and do the work. So now it's going to be a backfire because this loser, this hot-headed loser that's nervous about this court date ain't shit. It's unfortunate that this narcissist was attacking, had intent to harm this genius rising star. They did all this because they were determined to be a privileged lady or a wealthy man. That lets me know that it's a couple that has been in an energy. But they in despair, though. They in despair, and they nervous about this evidence in this court with the FBI. And this dating with option is making people have concerns, because what I did see concern in the shuffle. The concern could be that these people are out here knowingly spreading HIV by participating in these sex rituals. Let's see if Spirit wants us to pull people, places, and things. Spirit, would you like for us to pull people, places, and things? Yes or no, Spirit? Wow, Spirit saying yeah. So let's pull people, places, or things. See what else Spirit has to say. We'll start with letters. Start with letters. I usually pull 6 letters. There's 1. There's 2. X, W. There's I. Wix. If I'm not mistaken, Wix is a website, so that's letting us know that it's got something to do with the internet. I definitely know Wix is a website. A site where you can create your own website. E. Wow. Wow, Spirit. That's a lot. I usually only take 6. Okay, so Spirit saying stop. So stop definitely popped out. Yeah, I guess so, Spirit. You definitely got enough out here. Spirit might be saying that whatever they're doing, they need to stop. Help. Help. Could be somebody need help. Could be these kids. Wipe. They could be trying to wipe something away. They might be trying to get rid of evidence. Yay. We all know what that is. This came out the other day. Somebody could be doing something up their nose. Whip. Somebody might be belt the ass. Spirit might be saying it's going to be belt the ass time. Hip. Somebody could be out there trying to act like they got more than what they really got. Hex. There's definitely voodoo work involved. IP. There's definitely some computer work involved. Q could mean that there's some questions involved. He could definitely mean that there's definitely a male involved. Why? Spirit could be asking why. Why be a PDF? Why not go in and do the work? Pie. Could be somebody try to hex somebody by feeding them some pie. X. This is definitely involving probably my ex or somebody's ex in the collective. Pie could mean that they were strategic about that, because if I'm not mistaken, pi is a terminology in mathematics. So that could be saying that they were calculated about doing this. We could definitely mean that it was a collaboration between more than one person. Hey, could be spirit trying to get our attention, letting us know what's going on. Hype. Again, somebody trying to live above their means. They need to stop. Wait. Not sure exactly what that means. Hi. I don't know. Maybe these letters got synchronicity with somebody else in the collective. I just like to keep track of everything. That was interesting, though. That was interesting. Wow, a lot more came out, too. Wow. There's a whole bunch that fell on the floor. But we're not going to go into all that. We already almost at an hour. Oh, yeah, we had an hour easy. I just want to get into see what else Spirit is trying to tell us. Because Spirit said that it was Spirit that said that they want us to pull more. So I'm trying to be obedient and do what Spirit say do. Let's see what states might be involved next. We got the United States Virgin Islands. We got Montana. We got Arizona, South Carolina. Yeah. The Virgin Islands could be where they've been practicing this black magic at. Okay. Wow, we got Alabama, we got Hawaii, we got Delaware, we got VT. What the hell was that? VT. Understand it's VT. VT. What state is abbreviation VT? Vermont. Arizona has been consistently in the energy. Hawaii could be where they practicing this black magic. South Carolina been consistently in the energy. We're gonna pull a couple places of things. Spirit guide, which one we're gonna choose? Then we're gonna close with a prayer. This is person, places, and things. People, places, and things. Let's see which one Spirit wants us to choose from. Which one, Spirit? All right. We're going to choose 6 from this one. And we're going to close with a prayer. Oh, we're going to pull a couple numbers. Apartments. So maybe this PDF work, or this black magic, or this high priestess lives in an apartment. It's an apartment in the energy anyway. Yes. Maid, housemaid. This has been in the energy. Housemaid. That's like the 3rd time that done came out. Sports. Dentist. Maybe this is resonating with somebody in the collective. Motorcycle, that's been in the energy. That's like the 3rd time that done came out. Casino. I know that my ex's daughter worked at the casino. Actor at the bottom of the deck. Okay, apartment. Housemaid. Sports. Dentist. Motorcycle. Casino. Maybe these numbers have some type of synchronicity. And then we'll close with a prayer. 10, that means completion. 4, 10, 4, 10, 4. That's, if I'm not mistaken, that's what the police say when they have completed a transmission. 10, 4. Same thing as saying roger that. 10, 4, completion. 10, 4. So the wheel's definitely not turning in their favor. That's 10, 4. That's completion. Somebody could be 46 in the energy. Somebody could be 10 in the energy. Somebody could be 6 or 4 in the energy. That could be somebody's address. 1046 could be somebody's address. 1, 1, 0, once again. Completion. Somebody could be 60, somebody could be 10, somebody could be 40. Somebody could be 66. 106 could be somebody's address. Angel number 1046. Angel number 1046 suggests a message of willingness and joy, encouraging you to stay strong as you move forward in life. It signifies that your angels are supporting you and that your hard work and grounded approach will lead to positive outcomes, especially by maintaining a balance between your professional and personal life. Angel number 106. Angel number 106 is a message from the divine that new opportunities and ventures are coming, and you should use your potential to guide you through them. It signifies a period of transition, urging you to embrace your inner strength and move forward with confidence into a new phase of life. Interesting. 101 could be somebody's address. 66 could be somebody's address. 40 could be somebody's address. I'm going to close with a message, a prayer. It was 10, 1, 0, 6, 6, 4. Okay, Spirit, I'm only going to take one. Give us a closing message, Spirit. Give us a closing message. Give us a closing message, Spirit. Psalm chapter 73, verse 23 through 28. The Psalm chapter 73, verse 23 through 28 refers to a passage where an author affirms God's constant presence, guidance, and ultimate glory, declaring a deep desire for God above all else. This comes after the psalmist struggles with envy over the prosperity of the wicked, resolving to trust in God, who is the strength of his heart and portion forever. Okay, so that basically summarized the whole verse, but let's see what it actually has to say. Psalm 73, 23 through 28 with the International Interpretation Version says, starting with verse 23, it says, "Yet I am always with you. You hold me by my right hand. You guide me with your counsel, and afterwards you will take me into glory. To whom have I in heaven but you? And earth has nothing I desire besides you. My flesh and my heart may fail, but God is the strength of my heart and my portion forever. Those who are far from you will perish." That's the disaster that they cannot avoid because they didn't want to go in and do the work. "You destroy all who are unfaithful to you. But as for me, it is good to be near God. I have made the sovereign Lord my refuge, the right path." Lesson learned. The right direction. "I will tell all your deeds." Where two or more are gathered, the Lord God is in the midst. Do the work. Doing the work involves reading a Bible verse every day, maybe. Doing the work means staying in constant prayer so you can become an expert war angel. That's it. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. If you watch it all the way to the end, if this video resonated with you, please like and share this video on whatever platform. And until the next time we meet and greet, Ashe.